And welcome to another edition of Sports Den. We are starting to wrap up the month of September a little bit, which means the push to the section playoffs is really starting to begin. Some key regular season matchups here to really go over. We've got a full slate here on this edition of Sports Den. Welcome into the studio. My name is Ted LaRue, taking you through this roller coaster ride of highlights and information on our area schools here tonight. We've got 3 football games. We're going to tackle all 3 of our football teams, see how they did last Friday. We've got volleyball. We've got Cat Clash boys and girls soccer from Saturday as well. But we're going to start things off on the football field just down the road at Blaine High School for a matchup in the Metro North District. Here we go. Bengals opening up against Osseo, and they're opening up on the opening possession. QSSS, the Sam Shaughnessy Show from 8 yards out. He keeps it himself to put the Baby Blues up 7-0 early. Under 1 minute left in the first quarter now. Osseo responds. How about quarterback Wes Kranz rolling out, finding the man named after the shuffle, Iggy Cooper, his 4th touchdown grab of the year. Orioles hanging tough with the Bengals late in the opening frame. Now, never underestimate this Blaine offense. To not only strike, but strike quickly from 43 seconds to 11 seconds. Less than 30 seconds later, swings it out to Zach Larson, Shaughnessy being the point guard. Larson does the rest, taking it 62 yards to the house to put Blaine on top at the end of the first quarter. 14-7. You see the electricity from Larson cutting back to the inside for the score. Mid-second quarter now. You know, Sam says, point guard was fun for a little bit, but yeah, I like scoring too. Keeps it himself. He's into the end zone. Bengals extend their lead to 2 scores. 21-7, just over 5 minutes to go until the halftime break. Under 2 minutes to go now. Sam in the giving move from 3 yards out. Hands it to Moise Fauchier for the plunge. And Blaine is absolutely rolling at the end of the first half. Everybody looking easy. They're definitely pressing that easy button in the first half. Second half, just as easy. The drive ends with a pass from Shaughnessy this time to Wyatt Robidoux for the 11-yard score. Passing, running, any way you want it. That's the way Blaine needs it, and that's the way Blaine is doing it. Bengals up 35-7, but trust me, you haven't seen anything yet. Shaughnessy fakes, puts on the Jets, cuts inside, and mashes that circle button. You know, the CFB 25 video game had a spin move glitch. Shaughnessy's living in Glitch City right now. A massive 42-7 lead. At this point, what a move. Now, beginning of the fourth quarter, Osseo not going down without a fight. To who, you may ask? You guessed it. Iggy Cooper on the receiving end of this one. His 2nd touchdown of the night. Busted covered 64 yards later. He's saying, where you guys been? I've been in the end zone for hours. And finally, you guys decide to show up, trimming the lead to 42-14. Next possession, don't look now, but Osseo building some momentum on offense. Kranz, nice throw to Isaac Johnson, getting both feet in. That's good on Sundays even. Cuts it to a 3-score contest at this point in time. But this was the night of the Bengal. Fauchier punches it in once again. This time from 1 yard out, it was all Blaine. They roll to an impressive 41-21 win over the Orange and Black Birds.
Honest with me, how much Lamar Jackson footage do you watch, and how much were you thinking about him on that 51-yard touchdown run?
Every now and then. I want to give the credit to the O-line on that one. I thought they gave me the opportunity to kind of do that. It's a little Braxton Miller spin there, but no, again, I want to throw that to the wide receivers and the O-line for blocking. Paved a great hole for me, absolutely.
So you guys have Maple Grove next week, number 2 ranked team in the state. What is the mindset as you go into this week of practice and you look forward to that one?
They have some absolutely great players. They got a great running back. They got a great O-line. They got a great defense. So it's going to be a challenge, but I think that we're up for that challenge. I think offensively we can score on anyone, and defensively we can stop anyone. So I think we have the tools to beat any team in the state. It's just can we come prepared, and can we come win the game? Simple as that.
And that guy right there was the driving force. Sam Shaughnessy was certainly the driving force throughout this one, both passing and rushing. Sam, it's his 3rd game of 160-plus yards on the ground. 611 yards and 5 touchdowns rushing this season for Sam Shaughnessy. This has been an extremely balanced attack. Now, I know a lot of the attention goes to this run game for Blaine, and rightfully so, but You see 256 yards on the ground. You see 209 yards through the air. I think Mike Law loves that, where they can be a little bit more balanced. They certainly become a little bit more of a threat. Now, Zach Larson, he's been running the football really well this season. You know, only 6 carries and 18 yards, but he certainly got into it with that big touchdown reception over there. Blaine keeps it rolling against Osseo. We go from Class 6A. How about some Class 5A football? The Spring Lake Park Panthers taking on the Rogers Royals. This has been a great section matchup and a head-to-head matchup that's going to determine a lot here. Royals starting things with a bang. How about some broken tackles, winning the race down the sideline, speed kills. 45 yards later into the end zone, Rogers up 7-0 with that early lead at Panther Stadium. Midway through the first, this is what makes Lamari Brown so fun to watch. Reading his blockers, getting to the outside, 46-yard scamper, but the Panthers can't do anything with it. Moving on, late first quarter, Rogers looking to build the lead. Little miscommunication. The fake to lead to some improvisation. 30 yards later, it's a 14-0 lead, end of the first quarter for the black and blue of Rogers. Moving ahead now to the second quarter. You know, things weren't really clicking on offense for Spring Lake Park. So how about we get some points on defense? Touchdown, Teddy Wackman, they're going to call him. Jumps the route, takes it 41 yards to the den to cut the lead in half. Panthers. That is the jolt that they needed in those perfect crystal white uniforms here in this one. Let's just call them Iowa. Okay, we're getting some special teams with some defense. The blocked punt leads to this. A Lamari Brown plunge, his 6th touchdown of the year. We're all squared up 14-14, and it's because of defense, and it's because of special teams. The zone read in the quarterback pull game, it can be tough to spot and tough to read for a defense. This time, another QB pull from the running back's belly leads to a big-time fourth quarter for the Royals. This at the end of the third quarter. Now we advance to that aforementioned fourth quarter. They finish the drive, and they finish the game with the score of the passing variety there in the back of the end zone. The Royals take this showdown 21-14. Let's move on to some 6A football, jumping back, Centennial and STMA. Centennial has lost 2 of their first 3 games, taking on the Knights. Not a good start for the Knights. First drive, quarterback Ty Herring trying to make a big play, but it winds up in the hands of Marshawn Kelvin. Yeah, intercepted. He plays for Centennial. Next drive, trouble with the snap. Evan Just, right place, right time, takes it back to the house, getting the scoring started. Cougars, 7-0 in this game. Late in the first quarter now, Cougars punting craziness continues. A blocked punt leads to a field goal here to cut the lead to 4 early in the second. 7-3 Cougars at this point. 6 seconds until the half. Cougars get back to a 7-point lead. 20-yard field goal here from Justin Driver. He was perfect on his kicks. Knights within 1. It's 10-9 midway through the third quarter. A goal line stand on 4th and goal. Aiden Evans and company plugging the gaps to keep it a 1-point game. Early in the fourth, Caleb Melzer finishes the drive from 7 yards out to get Centennial at 17-9 advantage late in the game. Check out this block. 41, Ben Clausen just wrestling his guy to the ground to spring it. Cougars continue to wear down St. Michael Albertville. A big run from quarterback Isaac Belinsky-Strauss. The offensive line paving a huge hole to run through. Strauss averaged nearly 6 yards per carry on the night. The drive and the game are finished by another Melzer touchdown plunge. Cougars looking strong, and they roll to a convincing 24-9 victory over STMA. Let's kind of take a look at this one a little bit more in depth. And, you know, you look at Melzer and you look at Strauss. This is the 1-2 punch, right, that maybe you saw last year with Dalen Cummings and Maverick Harper. Obviously, they had more than that. And Centennial has more than that this year. But you look at that 1-2 punch, 183 yards combined in this game. You look at Brady Halfman, Tanner Dittrich. Maybe they didn't have the best games in the world, right? But this is still a very deep running back room for the Centennial Cougars here right now. And, you know, you look at the defensive performance as well. We mentioned Ben Clausen on offense, also getting it done on defense. Him and Caden Coppersmith with double-digit tackles, and Carlvin with the interception as well in this game. So how is everybody doing? Let's take a look at some standings here on the football side. And I think Blaine has been a very impressive team. I think they're one of the more impressive teams in 6A football right now. There's a team above them, and we're going to be talking about those top 2 teams here in just a little bit. You've got Centennial kind of sitting right there. Centennial went toe-to-toe with Maple Grove. You saw that one earlier this season on North Metro TV, and Some of these games coming up, I think they're going to be close games, and they're going to be games that Centennial certainly can be competitive in. You look to the 5A side, that game against Rogers was such a key game for Spring Lake Park at this moment in time. Big win for Rogers, but when we take a look at this section and this sub-district and everything, they're gonna see each other again, right? That's the way that has kind of played out through the years. Spring Lake Park kind of just sitting there in the middle of that sub-district right now. Here's what's coming up for every team right now. Circle Blaine and Maple Grove. Maple Grove sitting at 4-0, Blaine sitting at 3-1 right now. Charles Langama, the North Dakota commit, of course, is leading the Crimson right now. That game might move pretty quick, right? Because both of those teams are going to look to run the football in that specific matchup. You see what Centennial has coming up at Osseo and Anoka also on their schedule coming up. Winnable games, I think, coming up here down the stretch for the Cougars. We'll see how they can do. And then how about the 6th-ranked team in the state in the Andover Huskies playing the Spring Lake Park Panthers coming up this Friday. That one will be on North Metro TV as well. A 3-1 Blaine team, 2-2 teams for both the Centennial Cougars and the Spring Lake Park Panthers. Now we're going to shift from the field to the court, and that's where they play the game of volleyball. Our teams here that we cover at North Metro TV looking to gain a little bit of ground. Spring Lake Park was that team that was looking to gain a little bit of ground exactly 7 days ago. They started out 0-6, but they entered having to win 2 out of the last 3. Hosting Park Center. First set 2-1. Taylor Blana gives SLP a 2-point cushion right here. Panthers up 6 now. Solid play for the Blue Shirts, but how about DeAsia Wheaton for Park Center with the block to get the Pirates certainly going in the right direction. SLP would stretch the lead to 11 in the first when Adeline Wolfgang drops the hammer to keep SLP rolling. Panthers put the first set away with some pinpoint accuracy right here in the back corner. They take the first set 25-14. Second set now. Panthers off to a good start, leading 9-1. Blana didn't get all of it, but she got enough, and that's what matters. Puts SLP up 10-1. 15-point advantage now for Spring Lake Park. Claire Nelson following the simple strategy. Yeah, just hit it where they ain't, right in the middle. Can't quite get to it right there. SLP up 15. Timing off a little bit for Wolfgang. You'll see kind of off the bump and trying to set things up, mistiming the jump. But a big block for the Pirates, looking to gain some momentum for a comeback right here. A service error from Spring Lake Park gives from Park Center gives Spring Lake Park a dominant 25-7 set 2 victory. Now we go to the third set. SLP up 6-2. Kenna Labansky hits it home to keep distance right here between the Panthers and the Pirates. Park Center hanging tough, down just 4. Some more action and athleticism at the net for the Pirates. Cuts the lead to just 3 to try to force a 4th set. Panthers starting to pull away, up 9. But the block party, it's going all night long. Shamir Chapman sends it back. But SLP always found a way to control this match. Match point, Mercy Newby skips one across the PC defense like a flat rock on a Boundary Waters lake. The rally doesn't go the way, and this one goes the way of Spring Lake Park.
It's really good for us. I think it's going to keep pushing our team because to see the excitement and all the happy looks on all our young player teammates just makes us want to keep working harder at practice and win more games like that.
You guys have won, you won a couple games on Saturday in the tournament, so now you got, 3 in the last 5. You get to play again tomorrow, right, against North St. Paul. So how good does that feel? All right, we figured some things out, we got the win, and you get to turn around and do it again tomorrow.
That's just going to keep us excited, and we're just going to want to win again tomorrow. And just, that's pretty good, yeah.
I feel like it goes a lot with our energy. I feel like us older girls, we're told to bring a lot of energy every game, and I feel like it, tonight, it really, went out through all the, went throughout all the team, and I think everyone just brought as much energy as possible.
What were you thinking out there doing? I think it was a 13-0 run. You had 4 or 5 aces or something crazy in that stretch. What was that run kind of like? I'm just going to keep putting it in the same spot till they send it back.
Yeah, I was just listening to where Jazz was telling me where to put it, and I just kept telling everyone, be ready for anything to come over because, that's just what we were expecting all games, so.
It is the stretch run. We mentioned that at the top of the show, and it is the stretch run now for these girls on the volleyball court. You look at the Centennial Cougars right now, Since losing 4 of 5, they have rebounded by winning 3 out of their last 5. You look at those 2 losses, September 14th at Edina and then Osseo, building a lot of momentum with a sweep of Coon Rapids there on September 18th. You look at Blaine, this is a team right now that has won 2 in a row, and they've won 4 out of their last 5 sets, so they've been pretty dominant. You go back to that tournament in Hopkins on September 21st and what they've been able to do since then. You know, you look at Spring Lake Park, we just saw them on the highlights, coming off a loss at North St. Paul, good volleyball program over there on September 17th. You know, this is a Spring Lake Park program. 4 out of the 5 remaining games are teams that have records 500 or under. So it's a good opportunity right now, I think, for Spring Lake Park to kind of get back on the winning track and really build some momentum as we get to section play. So we're going to finish this show up talking about, you know, we started with the field, we went to the court, but we're going to go back to a field. Well, they call it the pitch, and they call it soccer. There's a lot of competitive soccer, and we had a couple of cat clashes. Blaine at Spring Lake Park, we start with the girls here in this one. Undefeated top 10 team in Spring Lake Park. An early foul sets up a Panther penalty kick for Brianna Finnegan. Keep an eye on that name because we're going to be saying that a couple of times. She finds the back of the net here on the PK. 1-0 Spring Lake Park. It's now a 2-0 cushion for the Panthers. Ball misplayed by the Bengals results in a turnover, and Ayla Specht right here. Just an absolute teardrop. 3-0 Panthers. They are rolling early. Blaine gets on the board a little bit later in the first half with some good and aware play around the net. Addie Stadden, right? Stadden, that might be the first name, the ultimate name of Blaine soccer, right? Sets up Haley Hughes for the goal to get the Bengals on the board, 3-1 at that point. Still in the first half, set piece for the white jerseys, and the field goal is good from downtown, just out of the reach of the keeper. Marissa Weiler converts from back there. 3-goal lead now. More set pieces. This on the corner goes right through the hands of Brooke Gorish. Trista Cosby is there for Blaine to take advantage. Now a 4-2 deficit for the Bengals. But that's all the Bengals would get. Weiler doinks one off the crossbar. Finnegan is there to convert to put the Panthers up 5-2. When it's going your way, it's going well. And that's how it was on Saturday for SLP. Finnegan finishes the afternoon with a hat trick, 3 goals, and Spring Lake Park remains unbeaten and rolls to a 6-2 win over their rival in the Blaine Bengals. We shift gears and we go to the boys. Coming into Saturday, Blaine had not lost since September 3rd, of course, taking on Spring Lake Park. Corner, lots of action in the box, eventually lands on the foot of Demir Cicic, Blaine out to an early 1-0 lead. Under 12 minutes now until halftime, a long free kick. Kai Herrera Markwald punches the ball out to the midfield, but Blaine takes advantage of him being out of the box. An absolute laser, Sam Spiriniak, beam me up, Sammy! And Blaine out in front, 2-0 at half. Second half now, loose ball at the top of the box. Where in the world is Steven Samiego? He's living in Goalville, cuts the lead in half to 2-1. Under a minute left in this one now. Flags stay down, and what an absolute great individual effort. Running past 3 Blaine defenders by Jacob Knockin, nets the goal to tie this one up. SLP gets a point in the standings, and this one ends in a 2-2 draw. We're going to shift things back to the girls' side first and see where kind of things stack up for them right now. Now, you see where Spring Lake Park and Centennial are. We're used to seeing Centennial right at the top of girls' soccer standings, right? They've won conference titles, they've won section titles, they've made section runs and state tournament runs certainly as well. But Spring Lake Park, maybe a little bit of a newcomer up there, and we certainly love to see it here in this area. Spring Lake Park tied Maple Grove earlier this season, 1-1 on September 3rd. So you see Maple Grove ahead of them by just a single point. No win, loss, tiebreaker, head-to-head type of thing going on there since they were able to tie. Since tying Elk River on September 12th, SLP has outscored their opponents 15-2. So they are on an absolute tear right now. Let's head to the schedules and see what's coming up here for some of these teams around the area. Boy, we got some cat clashes coming up, and we've got some very significant cat clashes as well. How about Centennial at SLP Soccer? You just saw those teams at the top of the standings, 2nd and 3rd in the Northwest Suburban right now. They face off on Thursday night. You will see that one here on North Metro TV. And then, of course, earlier in the week, you've got Blaine at Centennial as well. So if you want cat clash soccer, you know where to find it, right, this particular week. Let's head over to the boys and see what's stacking up over there standings-wise. You look at Blaine, right, of Maple Grove, you know, they're good in a lot of things. Soccer is just one of them. Maple Grove sitting at the top of the standings by a 7-point margin over Robbinsdale Armstrong right now, and Spring Lake Park and Centennial certainly sitting back there for some section seeding as well. We take a look at what's coming up at some schedules as well coming up for boys soccer. You know, these cat clashes, they are boys and girls soccer doubleheader. You see what Centennial has coming up, hosting Blaine and then going on the road to Spring Lake Park as well. Spring Lake Park going on the road to Andover here coming up, so teams looking to finish strong. And then on North Metro Television, here is what we have coming up on the airwaves this week. We mentioned those Cat Clash doubleheader soccer games, and I think specifically on the girls' side, there are going to be some big-time matchups over there. Football, number 6 Andover, traveling to Spring Lake Park. This is the first game for SLP where they play outside of their district and their section right now. And then a little bit further on down the road, a Cat Clash or volleyball contest between Centennial and Blaine. Anoka and Centennial football. We take a look at some of those teams earlier here in this show, and they were sitting right there at a 500 record. That's should be a competitive game. And then we've got that adapted soccer game that we do every year, Centennial Spring Lake Park at Anoka Hennepin as well. An action-packed week of sports here on Sports Den on North Metro Television. You saw that just on the schedule right there. Yeah, you're probably going to want to come on back to Sports Den next week to take a look at all of the highlights, see where teams stack up, see what they got coming up next, because now we're really starting to build toward those section playoffs here in just a couple of weeks. It's been another fun edition of Sports Den. We will see you back here Monday night, 6 p.m. for the next edition. Until then, I'm Ted LaRue. We will see you in the next edition of Sports Den, and make sure you tune in to North Metro TV this week for some good action.